Good afternoon, early evening, and it's Monday. Happy Monday. Jen here, checking in with you, coming to say hello, and wanted to share a lesson from my day today. So I've shared with you that we are spending some time in Florida, and it is not lost on me that living in Minnesota, we have picked the most perfect time to be here. So I recognize that we are incredibly blessed to be able to be spending a month down here. So today was an amazing day. It was a fun day and one that I have been looking forward to for weeks. I promised myself that I would go horseback riding while I was down here. More than once. I'm planning on going a few times, so I'm excited about that. So today, I was able to get out on the trail on a horse. My horse's name was Joker, and Joker is part of 31 horses at this area that I went to. It's called Orange Blossom Trail Rides. So 31 horses, and I had the pleasure of riding Joker. And I got a little bit sun-kissed. So I'm grateful for our weather. I'm grateful for the sun. I'm grateful to be in this area. But what I want to share with you is this, because there was an awesome lesson and a nugget that I really feel called to share. And as soon as I get a couple pictures, I'm going to share with you the pictures on the horse. It's so fun. So when we got back after the trail ride, I was talking to Sandy, who is the owner, and she's a phenomenal woman. She's a strong woman. She's a confident, powerful woman, and she runs this business by herself. So she has 31 horses that she takes care of by herself. It's kind of amazing. So when we got back, she was showing me how the horse that she was riding, his name is Sunny, and Sunny was standing there waiting to get his saddle taken off of him. And they stand there and they wait, and there were 3 of us. So it was myself, Sandy, and then another guest, and we all had our own horse, of course. And when we got back, there are posts separated, and she will put the rein over the post to keep the horse there, and then she will remove the saddle, and then she'll let the horse go, remove the bridle, and then let the horse go back into the pasture with the other horses, which I have a great video that I'm going to share with you with 2 of the horses that we rode. She said that a lot of times when we get back from riding and she gets the saddle off them, they're itchy and they go and they roll around in the dirt. And I know you've probably seen horses roll around in the dirt, but the video is worth it and you can hear the horses. Anyway, so her horse, Sunny, was the last one, and she walked Sunny over, and she said that she is going to ground, what is the word she used? Ground tie? I don't remember what it's called. Ground secure, maybe. I don't remember what word she used, but ground something. And she was referring to how, so the reins that she had, when I think of reins, I think of long leather straps. And she had so the bridle goes in the horse's mouth, and then the rein is a long kind of a rope. It's just a one rope that goes from one to the other. So it's a loop. And the rein, the loop, this cloth rope thing, she took it and she threw it to the ground, and the horse stood there. The horse didn't budge. And that's what she called ground, whatever she called it. Just like where you put the rein over the post and they stay there. They're, whatever it's called, I can't think of the name, but they're held by the post, right? And so she did this movement and she threw it down, and the rein landed on the ground, and now they're ground, whatever it's called, anchored, I don't know. And she was saying how so many places don't teach their riders or horses. They don't train their horses in this way, because then it's the way that she described it was in the old days when cowboys were out on the lands or out on the plains. They all knew how to do this ground with their horse, because if you had to stop and take care of something or help someone and there's nowhere to tie up, ground tie, maybe that's what it's called, nowhere to tie up your horse, you need to have an option, right? And so they used to, this was a prevalent teaching in years past, she said, and it was something that it's gone by the wayside because we don't have that very often anymore. And she trains all of her horses to do this so that wherever she's at, if she needs to, she can get off the horse, throw the rein down. It's still in their mouth, right? So you're just dropping it to the ground and they'll stand there. And Sunny stood there while she took the saddle off. Sunny stood there while we were talking, and then she took the bridle out of Sunny's mouth. And then she even talked about how she taught the horse that she will wrap her arm around the horses, just gently, like cradling, and the horse, she can lead the horses that way. It was kind of phenomenal. Here's the lesson. So that was a long way around getting to this lesson. So here's the lesson that I want you to hear in this. That horse was not tied to anything. It was trained to know that it's not going to move. If she makes a gesture with that rein and pushes it to the ground, that horse is trained not to move, right? It's trained to stand there. So here's what I want you to consider. I want you to consider, where do you have invisible restraints that are stopping you? Where do you have invisible restrictions that are holding you back? Things that you've always done this way because maybe that's the way you were taught to do them and you've never questioned it. Maybe one time it worked that way, but you've never really explored another option. So what I really want you to consider is, where in your life are you standing like Sunny? In an opportunity, you could get away, you could move, you could change the situation, you could change the experience, but you're not, because there's this invisible force that's holding you. It's just like, I need to grab my glasses so I can read your comments. It's just like the elephant that they train. So when an elephant is a baby, they tie the elephant up as a baby and it can't move. But you see giant elephants that are tied to a chair and they don't move because at some point they stop trying. At some point they stop trying to go because they're so conditioned into believing that they can't move anyway, so why bother? And same thing with Sunny the horse, right? And I'm not saying that we should do something different with Sunny. What I'm saying, what I want you to hear and what I want you to consider exploring is, are there any invisible restrictions in your life that you are allowing to stop you in your tracks? So let me grab this and we can expand on that. Kelly says, hi, jealous, so cold here. Yeah, I've heard that. And that's why I want to make sure that I say, I know that we are so blessed to be in this space and to be in a place where we are getting sunburned. And my hubs was messaging with our kiddo, and they shared how, oh great, I feel bad, like I'm going to paraphrase. Yesterday I stood in the cold, four below, for 30 minutes waiting for a bus, while here you are getting sunburnt. Like, I feel bad for you. Which I love that. Teaching your horse to stand still on command when not tied to anything is called ground tying. Thank you. It is called ground tying. Perfect. That is what I was trying to get to. So, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't have ground tying. Ground tying is just fine. I can see how this is a beneficial experience. But the thing that I took from that as a human is, what area of our lives are we, quote, ground tying ourselves to when we have a chance to move, when there really isn't something there that's stopping us? A lot of the things that I would bet are in our mind. For example, how often does you not valuing yourself stop you from taking an action? How often do you stop yourself from doing that thing because you don't think you're good enough? Or it's not going to matter anyway, or I don't look quite right, so I shouldn't go swimming, or fill in the blank. There's so many things we can fill in the blank, and the thing that is stopping us is simply something that we need to let go of. It's our own human version of ground tying. We have this invisible force that is stopping us, that's making us stand still, that is insisting that we don't move. And we are not Sunny in a field waiting to have our saddle taken off. We are humans. We have a reptilian brain, we have a mammalian brain, and we have our neocortex. We have our highest brain, which means we are humans. So we can think beyond that. We can think beyond standing there like beautiful Sunny did, waiting to get his saddle taken off. But what we need to do is we need to recognize that we are the ones holding ourselves captive to these invisible forces that are stopping us. And a lot of times, it's the voice in our heads. It's the voice in our heads. And it goes unquestioned. It goes unnoticed until we start to question it, or until someone like me comes along and says, I hope you question this. Check in, check with your thoughts. What is moving through this beautiful brain of yours that is keeping you stopped? And start to challenge that. Is it real? You think it is. It's a perceived real. But that's the thing, is it's simply a perception. Just like Sunny's been trained to stand there when the ground tying happens. When she drops that rope to the ground, Sunny has been trained to stay there, and it's no different than the way we train ourselves to continue to believe something that's not true. It's similar to when we first came down here and there's this perception, right? Our perception really is our reality. When we first landed here, there were people today, this morning in Florida, it was 57 degrees when I saw the first human across the park, and they were talking about how they're hoping that it warms up soon because this is cold. 57 degrees. Now, I bet if I talked to any of my beautiful friends back home in Minnesota, they would be chomping at the horse bit for 57 degrees. It's all perception, right? It's all perception. And a lot of the perception is not truth. It's simply our opinion that we have decided is truth. And so I really just encourage you to check in. Check in. Beautiful Sunny the horse brought me this today, and I just felt that I needed to bring it to you and share it. That we can check in on these things. We can check the validity of them and see if they are true. So that's what I have for you. And I do have a bit of sunburn going on, which I'm just going to tell you I'm not sad about. I'm not sad about, and yet I know that we are so blessed to be here. So I'm super grateful to be here, soaking all of this up. I'm going to do everything I can to live my best life during this month and enjoy all of it. And I will share more adventures with you. Next up, I will post the video of those two horsies that were so happy. The two horses in there are Sunny is going to be the brown, not brown, he's like caramel, like cream caramel color. And then Joker is the horse that I was on, and he's brown and white. And they are in the ground. So I will share that video. You can see them. I hope you have a beautiful evening. Happy Monday. And let me know if this makes sense for you. Does this resonate for you? Can you see where you are allowing yourself to stay tied down from something that maybe you haven't questioned or looked at? I think we all do it. It's just, let's make it aware. Let's make ourselves aware of it so that we can start making a change, because awareness is the first step. We have to have awareness before we can make any change. Once we have the awareness, then we need the consistency of the new action, right? And in the in-between, we can talk about that more. The in-between is where we get murky and lost and confused and frustrated because we don't have that new path That new path isn't ingrained yet, so it's frustrating. It drives us crazy because we're not there yet, and we are not very kind to ourselves in that newness. So keep that in mind. All of this is awareness. Have that awareness, right? And from that awareness, we can make the changes that we desire. We just have to keep taking a step. Jen says, ha, strut that sunburn. Yeah. Thank you for the fantastic lesson today. Much food for thought. My pleasure, dear Jen. My pleasure. So have a beautiful night. Happy Monday, and we'll talk soon. Take care.